Okay. So, hello everyone.
Hello.
It's officially time to start class now, even though we always have lovely conversations before class. How is everyone?
Great.
Great. I don't know if anybody's online, but hello if anybody's watching online.
JT's trying to be.
All right, lovely. All right, well, let's start off with a prayer. Just relax right where you are. Simply let go of any tension that you might feel in your body. Allow your body to be loose and relaxed. Release any anticipation for what you think this night might be about. Let go of any regrets you have from the past. Let go of anything. Just be perfectly present right where you are. It's right here in this present moment that I recognize there is only one power. That power is the energy of the universe. It is a creative source. It is the only thing going on. The one thing, the one true thing that is happening throughout all of creation. This energy is omnipotent, omniscient, omnipresent. It is coursing through each and every one of us, and it is who and what we are. We are each of us perfect, individualized expressions of this power. There is absolutely no separation between it and us. We are all the same thing. And from this place of understanding, from this place, I know and recognize that there is pure, perfect equality. For there is no place where there is more of this power and less of this power. There is simply just the power, infinitely. And it is infinitely available, and it is infinitely present right here and right now. And so what I claim for this evening, the understanding that the words I speak right here and right now are founded and grounded by this power and in this power. I know they have power. And the power is the power to create. And so what I create right here and right now is an evening that is relaxed and joyful, that unfolds with grace and with ease for the highest purpose of each and every single one of us. Each and every single one of us takes something from this evening and carries it infinitely, for it will forever change our experience. For there is nothing but change. There is nothing but perfect evolution, and there is nothing but perfect forward momentum. So this night, this moment, right here and right now, is part of that perfect forward momentum. I know this to be true, and I simply relax into this. I relax into this moment. I know it is all unfolding exactly as it needs to for the highest for each and every one of us. And from this place of conviction, I simply release this word in deep gratitude for the power and in deep gratitude for this thing called wisdom that is intuiting itself through each and every one of us. So in deep gratitude, I simply let go, I release, and I allow. And together we say, and so it is. Hello. Hello. So, I'm really excited, as I was saying, because I am going to New York tomorrow. And been working all day today to get everything going, to get it all squared away and ready to get out of town. Even for just an overnight trip.
There's so much to do.
There's so much to do to prepare.
Yep. What do you pack, for God's sakes? Where's the shoes do you take?
Yeah. Yeah, because you have to be comfortable for travel, but you want to be nice when you go to the theater, right?
Yeah. Yep.
So,
Yeah.
anyway.
A little bit of this, a little bit of that.
A little bit of this, a little bit of that. That sounds good. So how is everyone? How has your week been?
Good. Good one.
Good and busy.
Good and busy.
All right.
It's only Tuesday.
Opportunities to forgive this week. Did you find them popping up since we had our focus on forgiveness last week?
Yeah.
They show up, right? And part of that is when you put your focus on something, it shows up. The opportunity shows up to engage in that. So, ooh, my phone is buzzing. Does anybody have any wins they want to share?
I do.
Yes.
I wasn't here last week. I got an unexpected income tax refund.
Wow.
Of over $100. And I met a nice guy and I had my second date today.
That's even more exciting.
I love that.
That sounds amazing.
Thank you.
That's awesome.
Yes, it is.
Awesome. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Very exciting. Very exciting. Carrie.
I got the job.
Yay! It's like you've all been on this journey with me.
Crazy.
And
What is
so
the
it
job?
is.
So it is. What is the job? I'm going to be a learning coach.
A learning
Oh,
coach.
wow.
I'm going to teach teachers.
Oh.
Very cool.
It is very cool, and it's exactly where I need. It's exactly where I need to be. It's exactly what I need to know next. It's like, it's going to teach me, and the bonus is I'm going to teach other people.
That's
It's exactly
brilliant.
what I need to know
Great.
right now.
Awesome.
Perfect. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, congratulations on
Yay.
that.
Well, and can I share one more teeny tiny?
Please.
So
Try
I
and
so
stop
I
her.
started on Friday, of course. And I went in to meet the team that I'm going to work with. And in the afternoon, they showed a TED Talk. And the TED Talk was about the science of happiness, which is basically what we teach and espouse. So I'm walking into this amazing group who's like, have you ever thought of this? And I'm like,
It doesn't matter.
yes. So, it's a good idea.
Awesome.
It
I'm
is.
really, really happy for you.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Congratulations. Any other wins? Yes.
My name is Wynn, by the way. I had a dream about receiving money,
Mm-hmm.
so that really felt good to me.
Awesome. Well, you know, dreams are just a pathway to reality. So just be open to the acceptance of it in reality in your everyday experience, and it happens. It happens for sure. Awesome. Yes, Charose.
Well, my win was connecting with a dear friend and sharing a couple of things, celebrating my car, and also being able to speak, well, spontaneously about how much she mattered to me. And actually being here is a win for me, because I have been, I've had a challenging day with my headaches.
I'm glad you're here. I am glad you're here. Congratulations. Yes.
I found myself catching myself when those little doubts creeped up about money and being supplied, and I realized, I said, you know what, I'm not afraid of you anymore. Like, I either believe this or don't, and thank you for sharing, but here's the truth that I choose to believe. And it's interesting, those little doubts, they kept coming back and going, are you sure? Are you sure? Are you sure? And then this morning I took an Edwene Gaines approach and I said, okay, God, here's the deal. I am requiring you to show me a sign today that I have absolutely no doubt that it comes from you, that I am totally supplied and protected and supported. So I won $5 in the lottery. I was like, yes! And my agent sent me an audition, and they know that I'm booked out for a month and a half with this program that I'm in. And she said, well, I don't know if you can do this, but blah, blah, blah. And I looked at my schedule, and the shoot date is an assignment day. And I went, okay, the cards are on the table for a reason. I said, yes, I'll go to the audition.
Wow. Great.
Because plus it's double scale, so I'm just like, it's worth a couple of grand to me. So I went, okay, thank you. Those are my signs.
Awesome. Awesome.
Great.
I have one.
Whoa, okay.
Whoa.
Let me go to Hailu first.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
I actually hadn't been thinking of a win, because
Mhm.
I hadn't been here for the previous, sessions, but I guess I have had a few wins,
Great.
today. It seems as though things are aligning so that I can get some office space for my practice.
Mm-hmm.
And a number of people have kind of popped up to agree to be my clinical supervisor should I need it, and things seem to be kind of going ahead in terms of me being able to open my own practice, which I'm really excited about.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
very
awesome.
good.
That's great. Congratulations. Yay.
I have two.
All right.
Just might have a job. This is another one.
Woo.
That it just fell in my lap and it's right up my alley. I'm just waiting to hear, so it's a start. And the other win is I have a weird sense of humor, so. Yesterday I did this, I met my daughter and we did this adventure thing. It's treetop thing. You walk across ropes in a treetop and zip line. You do that. And so when she asked me, I said yes, because I wanted to spend time with my daughter. And I hadn't thought about the other part too much. So we get there and we're having fun. But about 2 hours in, I had this moment where I was exhausted. It was really hot yesterday. I think this was more physically strenuous than I hadn't thought about it really, hadn't given it any thought. And I had hit a wall. I was just exhausted, and I was looking at this neck, they call them games, these rope things, and there was this long swing from one tree to probably the next tree was down there where the wall is. And it's all these little pieces of wood that just swing back and forth. And the first step is at least 3 feet. And I've been doing similar, but they were getting harder and harder and harder as we went along. I thought, okay. And I'd been so busy just trying to keep up with my daughter that I hadn't been giving this much thought either. But I was tired, so I'd stopped. I finally looked around and I was looking at this challenge ahead of me, and okay, this could go one of two ways. I could completely lose it right now very easily. I could just let go because I am scared to death. Or suck it up, Pat, and I say, okay, this is your test. This is not God's test. This is it. Either you believe or you don't believe, so just close your eyes, put your foot out there and go for it. So I did. Didn't dare look down. I only looked at one step. And then the next step. And it took me forever to get across there. And I got to the next tree and I thought, oh, I did it. By this time I'm so tired. I just want to finish. The only way to finish is to keep going.
That's great.
Wow.
The next one, I thought, okay, that's got to be the hardest. The next one was I'm standing on a platform. There's another platform quite a distance away, and there's a rope hanging between the two platforms. That is it. So I have to reach out and grab the rope and swing myself to the next platform.
Oh my God.
And my arms are aching, I'm shaking. I think I'm seriously dehydrated because it was so hot. Okay. Gail knows this motto I have. You're either in or you're out. That's what goes through my mind. You're in or you're out. So, and this all went through my mind in like a split second. There's nowhere there to help me. I either believe or I don't believe. I'm in or out. And I just reached out, grabbed that rope, and went for it. And I'm so proud of myself.
Yeah.
I did it. There's no doubt after
Good
that.
job.
And then I got down. Pretty much. There was an even higher one. I said, no, I'm not done. I'm just done.
Bravo.
Bravo, indeed. Awesome.
Big win.
That's
Yeah.
great. Great. Any other wins? We're talking about people's wins this week. just since you came in, just so you know what's going on. Any wins? All right. All right. All right. All right. I will tell you what happened to me yesterday. I found out that I had a $2,200 liability in taxes. I actually owe $2,200. Yeah.
What does that mean?
It means I owe $2,200 in taxes.
Not enough for taken.
So did you say thank you to
I
the
did.
opportunity to pay my bill?
Yeah, you know the thing is, I looked at it, and I won't deny. I looked at it and I thought, well, that's a shocking number.
Yeah.
And I thought, my first reaction, I will admit, was, how the hell am I going to pay that?
Yeah.
And I thought, I will. I have no doubt. I do. I've always stated that I do believe in paying taxes. We live in a society, and I am honored to pay taxes to be a part of the society that I live in. So it's fine with me. But it was a shock because it was not. It was totally unexpected.
Canadian government or
No,
the
American.
No, Canadian.
Oh, really?
I don't owe anything to the U.S.
Oh.
Okay, that's good.
because I pay taxes here. So I get a credit. I don't owe anything in the U.S. So yeah, but it was just like, whoa, that's surprising. And it's all good. It's all good. I have to trust that everything is working for my highest. It's the exact same thing. I either believe the stuff or I don't.
Yeah.
What side of the equation am I going to be on? Am I going to be living in full faith, or am I going to sit here in fear going, oh my gosh, how am I going to pay this? No. It's paid. It's taken care of. And I don't need to know where the money comes from. I just need to know that the money comes.
Yes.
So that's a win.
Oh.
Yes.
To have that concept, to have to have the frame of reference, and to have the capacity to know that no matter what, I'm in charge of my experience and I'm in charge of where my mind goes. Yeah.
The money that you owe will be going to somebody, whether it's in a pension plan, for somebody, a little old lady, or a couple of little old ladies.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's going someplace good.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Please, I have a lot of benefit from living in this country, so I'm happy to pay it. Absolutely happy to pay it. Yeah.
I have utterly, completely, and thoroughly decluttered my life in a way I've never decluttered before.
Yeah.
It feels wonderful.
Yes,
For
I
the
know.
next evolutionary step.
Yes, and this has been an ongoing process for you, for sure. For sure, you know. And I'm actually now going to touch on something, so I'm not calling you out, but something that you asked me about after service.
Right.
And I just wanted to clarify, because after service, you know, I want to honor that you asked me this question. If there are stories that work for you in your life, by all means hold on to them. Hold on to them, because when I kept saying, get rid of your story, you don't need your story, like it could be taken that, you know, well, what does that leave me with? And the truth is, if something works for you, so what I'm going to clarify now, stories that are destructive, get rid of them.
Yeah.
Stories that are constructive, definitely hold on to them. Because they are part of who you are. They are part of what makes you you. And the reason that I thought of this just now when you brought that up is because it makes me think of the year and a half that I have watched you expand and grow and blossom. And the shift in the story that has occurred right before my eyes. And I want to honor that and say congratulations to you on that, because it's been pretty spectacular. So. And I'm sorry to...
It's okay. I never know when a wave is going to hit me. I just let it go.
Yeah.
Let the flow.
Pastor,
Yes.
Rebecca shared with me what you taught in the last class about forgiveness.
Mm-hmm.
And on my own, I have come to realize I've been a single mom now for 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
I've held a grudge against my husband, ex-husband, for 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very, very angry because I lost who I was. I stopped being the married woman I was to become a single mother, to raise my kids on my own, to fight tooth and nail. And I keep asking Jesus to come in my heart. And I feel that he just bounces because there's no room in my heart for him.
Okay.
So I realize until I forgive this person for what he did, there's no room for God in my heart. So I called an old church pastor who wasn't even working in the church anymore, but I called him because I know him. And we prayed for about 45 minutes on the phone. And when he finished his prayer, I felt like I was carrying this knapsack full of rocks, and the rocks were just lifted. And from that day was a turning point for me because I forgave him. I actually called him on Father's Day to thank him for being a good father, which he's not, but I thanked him for being the father of my children. I said they wouldn't be who they are if you were not the father.
Yeah.
That's true.
And apparently he was very surprised because he thought I was calling him to ask for money or to curse him. And I actually told him in my conversation that I loved him, that I will always love him because I said you will always be the father of my kids. And when I see my kids, I know they're mine because I carried them and gave birth. They don't look like me at all. Rebecca can tell you. They are the spit image of the father. So when I look at my kids, I see him. So I gotta love him because I love them. You know what I mean? So anyway, from that day on, wonderful blessings have been just pouring and pouring.
And so it is. Thank you for sharing that, because that's why forgiveness is so important.
Yeah.
Because, and that's such a great example of until you forgive, you have no room in your heart to allow the divine to shine through. You basically just blocked the flow. So that's really beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. Really beautiful. It's funny, you know, that I was an only child to a single father for the first 10 years of my life. And something that you just said makes me think, I'm the spitting image of my birth mother.
Wow. Really?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, like there's no mistaking that she's my mom, right? So what he had to, you know, and there was a point in my life when I was in high school, because they were high school, you know.
Yes.
Yes, well, I don't know that they were sweethearts. They were friendly in high school to the point of having a child together. But
So why did you end up with your dad though?
she left. Before I was a year old, they were forced to get married. It's so funny. So now I'm wondering if my father's going to watch this, because he actually watched a class. So they got married, and
That was the thing to do.
and yeah, exactly. She was pregnant. They got married.
Yeah.
Before I was a year old, she left. They had a divorce. She left, and she left the state. Even though they were, I've seen the divorce papers. There was joint custody granted. She just basically
Took off.
and that was it.
How many years ago are we talking about?
39.
Well, she left when I was before I was a year old, so that was 39 years ago.
I'm just thinking of what generation it was, because you're saying they were forced to marry.
It was
So
it was the
a time of-
70s.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they were forced to marry.
Yeah, it was the 70s.
Your father was quite young at that time.
My parents were 18 when I was born.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. And it's funny because I think about if I'd had a child when I was 18.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
What?
You would have a 20-year-old right now.
They'd be basically out of college by this point. And I'm now, and it's only now that I'm thinking, well, maybe it's time to have a child, right? Anyway.
So you were saying though, your father was a single dad for 10 years.
So he was a single. No, the point I was making is that what he ended up having to live with was me looking like my birth mom.
Yeah.
And there was a point when I was in high school where I was like beanpole thin, and fairly effeminate, right? And I had these wire-rimmed glasses. What I didn't know is that she had almost the exact same kind of style of glasses when she was in high school when they were together. And so like I would put on these glasses and I kind of had long hair. And so like adding insult to injury, I looked even more like my mom during that period. She and I have reconciled. I met her when I was 16. We don't have a close relationship, but we keep in contact once in a while. I have another woman that I really think of as my mom now, so and she's been here. Anyway. All right, so let's talk about tonight. Let's talk about divine purpose.
Yes.
Because clearly I'm excited. Divine purpose. First of all, so how many of you read it?
Yes.
This so resonates with me.
What book is it?
The 4 spiritual laws of prosperity. And that's basically what these 4 weeks have been focused on. And we do have it in the bookstore, if you like.
Okay.
On sale now in our bookstore. So this week, divine purpose. Divine purpose. I love that she starts off with commitment. Commitment. and intention. This is really akin to what is intention in your life. So if I were to ask you, what is intention, how might you respond to that? What is intention?
It has to do with decision, for sure.
Okay. All right.
A decision to move forward.
A decision to move forward.
Conscious choice.
But you're focusing on whatever you're accomplishing, like, you know, if you take this workshop, my intention is to, you know, like focus to, what do you wanna get?
Okay, what do you want to get? And what are you focused on?
Yeah.
Okay.
I would say one of the most important things about intention is it comes from somewhere deep down and you've got all power behind it.
Comes from somewhere deep down, you've got all power behind it.
Yeah.
Okay?
And you know, when you veer off at something, it won't feel right, you'll feel yucky, or something within you, God within you will sort of pull you by your nose and say, here, remember this?
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a very deep, clear.
Okay. All right. Gail, did you have something?
I was just gonna say, it's something, when I make an intention, I focus my mind on it. If I can keep my mind on it, everything else follows. But I can't have my mind jumping around and forgetting about it, because that monkey mind does funny things, right?
All right.
So if I can focus my mind on it,
Okay.
remember it.
Awesome.
If I'm correct, I remember reading something about it being irrevocable. It's something you cannot just say, okay, I'm gonna do it today, but tomorrow I'm not gonna worry about it. It's like, you've gotta do it every day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would agree with that.
Yeah.
I haven't read the book, but I think it's vision.
It's vision. Okay, so let me ask you, so I'm going to couch it in this way. If I were to ask you what is then the difference between vision and intention, what would you say that is?
I think they're very similar concepts.
Mhm.
Because at least for me, I'm a visual person. I learn with
Mhm.
pictures.
Great.
And I see pictures, and when I hear music, I see choreography in my head. I'm crazy like that. So when you have a vision of something and you can see it so clearly, it's real in your mind, then that gives you that intention of arriving there, getting to that goal.
Okay. All right, so vision can lead to intention.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's the concentrated effort, or the decision, sorry, the conscious decision is the intention?
The conscious decision is the intention. All right.
Correct.
Yes.
There's a heart and mind component to me. Vision is from the heart, and intention is really from the mind.
That's very interesting. Vision is from the heart and intention is from the mind.
I would agree with that.
To me, intention is when you focus your will to pursue your desires.
You focus your will to pursue your desires. So there's another question. What is the difference between desire and intention?
A focused desire.
A focused desire.
Yeah, intention you have to make, intention is you have to connect with something again within to charge that up whatever you want to.
Okay.
You can have desires of everything. I desire this, I desire that, but in intention you have to have a bit of a more
The
work.
difference is commitment. A
Difference.
desire is something you wish, an intention is a commitment.
Intention is a commitment.
A decision made.
Yes. So those of you who have been in mental muscle, do you remember there's a whole intention week? I have somebody flailing his arms in the back of the room. So before I continue on, I'm going to ask. Yes, Brian?
Oh, no, it's the other
Scooby.
one. No, it's you.
Oh, okay.
Mark. But sometimes you're not aware of your intentions.
No, is it an intention then?
Is it an intention then?
That's where intention is
Conscious intention.
An intention is conscious. It's a conscious
If it
choice.
shows up in conditions, it was intention.
I see.
I like that.
If it shows up in conditions, it was intended.
Yeah, thank you, yeah.
Now, so
Even if it was subconscious.
everything that shows up in your world of conditions is based on what?
Your
beliefs.
Your beliefs and your thought. 90% of your thinking is subconscious. We have subconscious intentions happening all the time.
It's our commitment to that result.
Right.
Sometimes it's things that we're afraid of, we're actually intending because we believe it's gonna happen.
True.
Right. If it's showing up, there's an
Yes, the bad,
intention
that's
for it
the
to
bad.
show up in your experience, whether you want it to or not. So this is where we have to get very clear about making conscious, committed choices in our life that leave no room for doubt as to what their expected outcome is going to be. That's why a trained mind is more powerful than an untrained mind, because we have the capacity to do that. So those of you who have been in Mental Muscle, there is a whole week that is dedicated to intention. We just did it, right? We just did it last week. Last week. Yeah, it was last week. No, 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago, because last week was Self-Esteem and Self-Respect Week, and now we're in Communication Week. So here's the thing. Did you catch it?
Yes, it's hard to miss now, Jonathan, yes.
So here's the thing.
Yeah.
Well, interestingly enough,
And that's another one.
that's another one, yeah. We're joking because in Communication Week you need to start becoming aware of the catchphrases you use. And my catchphrases are, here's the thing. Interestingly enough, I have many others. I'm sure you will begin to recognize them.
I won't go there.
But with the clarifying intention in Intention Week in Mental Muscle is done this way. And it was a lesson of Dr. David Walker. Dr. David Walker, who was pastor of the Los Angeles Church of Religious Science, and I will refer to it in his regard as the Los Angeles Church of Religious Science because he was opposed to the name change, said, here's the difference between an intention and a decision. A desire, I'm sorry. Intention and desire. I'm like, decision isn't the right word. An intention and a desire. I can desire to go to the movies. I can desire to go to the movies. If I actually get in my car, drive to the theater, buy the ticket, get the popcorn, sit down in the seat, that's intended. The desire does not necessarily mean that you're going to do it. Right? So when does your desire turn into intention?
With action.
Action.
With action, yes. Brian.
I was just gonna say, it's like with treatments, when you walk in the direction of your treatment,
Mm-hmm.
that's your attention. You can say what you want, but you don't make that first step towards it, it's not intended.
Right. And that's one of the things that I try to be very clear about when I'm teaching spiritual mind treatment, affirmative prayer, whatever you want to call it, is if it does not lend itself to action, then it probably was not fairly effective.
The desire is not effective?
The treatment, the prayer.
Oh.
And this is hard sometimes because you hear the phrase in this philosophy when you're going through class, you'll hear treat and move your feet, right? But what I say is do not ever move your feet just blindly. Don't say, okay, I'm treating for $1 million and now I'm going to start moving my feet and I'm going to maybe do this and oh no, I might do this, No, if you treat for $1 billion, I'm just going to keep going up. If you treat for $1 billion and you trust in full faith that what you have stated is fact in your experience, then you will be compelled to move your feet. A lot of people treat and then they just blindly move their feet, kind of, grasping at, oh, well, maybe this will work or maybe this will work. That's not faith. So intention is very important, I believe. And as you go about your life, and certainly she's very clear, intention and commitment are paramount in achieving true prosperity consciousness. Yeah, sure.
It strikes me as you say that, two things. In the face of your intention, everything that's unlike it will fall away.
Yeah.
You're opening up your mental equivalent, hopefully. And the second thing is that the affirmation aspect gives us a weight to our intentions.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah, the affirmation
As
aspect.
you emphasize that the conscious aspect of these things.
Yeah, absolutely. The affirmation aspect keeps us open to our intentions. I'm just trying to, just because I'm not sure the microphone will pick you up, so I'm trying to repeat what you say. And no, that's very astute. Thank you. Thank you for that. So, intention. Do not just tell me about it, do it. So here's my question to you. What do you have a 100% commitment to in your life right now? This is a rhetorical question. I mean, if you want to answer, you can.
Okay,
Yeah.
parenting is commitment
Parenting is commitment. And you have a 100% commitment to being a parent
of my 2 kids.
of your 2 kids. Great.
I
Great.
think once you become a parent, I mean, you're either a good parent or not, but if you are committed, it gives you that good parenting.
All right, but let me ask you, are you committed to being a good parent? Or are you just committed to being a parent?
A good parent.
All right. You have a 100% commitment to being a good parent.
Yes.
All right, there's nothing that can shake you off of that course. Brilliant. Awesome. What do you have a 100% commitment to in your life? So I want everyone to bring that to mind, whatever that is for you in this moment. Now you may find a lot of different things, but just choose one for now. A 100% commitment that you have in your life. Now, if you were driving down the road and you were pulled over by a cop, and the cop came up to you and taps on your window, you roll down the window, and the cop has not stopped you for a traffic violation, the cop has stopped you because he's not sure that you have a 100% commitment to what it is you've just thought about. If that cop took you in, could you prove that you have a 100% commitment in your life?
Wow, 100% is a lot.
Aha.
And why would I have to prove it to anybody?
Well, the point is you shouldn't have to prove it to anybody. But when you ask it in that, when I say 100%, when she's talking about 100%, that's 100%.
Right.
If there's any room for doubt, if there's any room where your commitment is not 100%, it's going to show up in your experience. Shahroz.
Well, I certainly, immediately went to a particular thing that was quite basic, and I can say, yes, I'm 100% committed, and yes, I can prove that. And what I can also appreciate is that part of that is when I notice that, I'm not being that, I have room to correct.
Yeah.
So, but the intentional commitment is there. And I feel personally that we all have that, but it may be our sense of, ooh, I didn't do that right, that may stop us from saying, actually, yes, that is my intention because I'm still living it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it's thank you. It is important to, if you are finding times, places where the commitment wanes, be aware of it and do what you need to do to reinvigorate that commitment. Another way, because this is the other thing that comes to mind. I look at you, Mark, because you're an actor, and you'll get this. So if an actor gets pulled over, can the cop convict them on the grounds of being an actor or on the grounds of being a waiter? Because because here's the thing, a lot of actors, and I've experienced this, and I went through this, I had this, a lot of actors have their fallback job.
Yeah, didn't like waiter.
If you have a fallback plan, I guarantee you're gonna need it.
You just made a pun, someone who waits
Yeah,
Yeah.
on their time.
Yeah.
that's ironic.
It is ironic. So, where do you have a 100% commitment in your life? Now, here's the next question. What do you want to have a 100% commitment to in your life? And what steps are you taking today to do it? And or have you taken any steps? Can you look at the past 30 days? Did you take any steps in those 30 days to do it? I see some yeses, I see some people kind of try not to make eye contact with me. Yeah.
I'm gonna bore you with my story, but I think since I was a very young girl, I've considered myself a Christian, like I've allowed Jesus in my heart. but I keep closing the door, and you know, when it's not convenient, he's out of my life, and when it's convenient, I bring him back in. And like I said, in the last month, I've kept asking him to come, and he keeps bouncing, cause he couldn't.
Okay.
So that's why I made that conscious decision of forgiving this
Mhm.
person. And so many, I can't start to tell you how many blessings have poured.
Of course.
I had to stop doing my job about a month and a half ago, cause I was a barista for Starbucks in a Lungo supermarket. And it's a standing job,
Mhm.
and I got varicose veins deep in my legs, both legs, so very, very painful. To make the story short, I haven't had a real paycheck in a month and a half. And yet, my fridge is full, my cupboards are full, I'm not hungry, like the basics are taken care of. How? I don't know. And my fridge is full, my cupboards are full, and my basics are taken care of.
And I love that you said how, I don't know.
There you go.
Who deals with the how?
God.
God deals with the how. And I also, so you're pointing out also what I've said for several weeks in a row now too, is that your supply does not come from your work. We are socialized to think that it does.
Yeah.
Now, a portion of your supply may be coming because you work. So, what do you want to work at that is play that can support you and bring supply into your experience? Because a lot of people are just taking jobs just to get jobs.
Yeah.
Now, this brings up this next note, actually. If you are looking at what do you want to have commitment, a 100% commitment to in your life, another question and another way of looking at it is, what is the end result of your commitment? And what I'm specifically getting at, are you looking only at a narrowly focused definition of success that is tied to money?
Can you say that again, please?
I will say that again. What is the end result of your commitment, the idea of commitment that you have? Are you looking only to a narrowly focused definition of success that is tied to money? Because what we're learning about, what this 4-week workshop has been about, ostensibly, is money, because people look, prosperity. Prosperity, that means I'm gonna come to this 4-week workshop and I'm gonna learn how to make money. Right? I mean, a lot of people come to it with that concept in mind. And yes, a byproduct of this will be more money. I guarantee you, that's a byproduct of this. But remember what Edwin Gaines' definition of prosperity is? I'm going to remind you. A vitally active physical body to provide a comfortable worldly home for the spiritual beings we are.
Can you say it again?
I will. This is Edwin Gaines' definition of prosperity in 4 parts. Part 1, a vitally alive physical body to provide a comfortable worldly home for the spiritual beings we are. That's 1. Número 2.
Eso.
Relationships that are satisfying, nurturing, honest, and work all the time. 3. Work we love so much, it's not work, it's play. And 4, all the money we can spend. Now when I went back and looked at this, I thought, oh my gosh, these are this is the bingo card. It's the bingo card. A vitally alive physical body to provide comfortable worldly home for the spiritual beings we are. That's health. Right?
Yes.
Relationships that are satisfying, nurturing, honest, and work all the time. Relationships. Work we love so much that it's not work, it's play. That's creative expression. All the money we can spend is wealth. when I talk about the bingo card, these are the things within, because she comes from the background of being a unity minister, and I'm a religious science minister, and in religious science we talk about health, wealth, relationships, and creative expression being the 4 areas where if those are all in balance, then your life is unfolding beautifully and perfectly and harmoniously. So, same thing, it's the same concept. Well, I love now tying that into, if I'm living in balance, then my life is prosperous.
Right.
Because what happens, imagine their table legs. Got your table leg for health, wealth, relationships, creative expression. If one of those table legs is shorter than the other, you got a wobbly table. You want to have a solid table. So she has a hard line with respect to commitment, and we've already kind of covered this. It's the next thing in my notes, I'm going to read it anyway. She has kind of a hard line. If there is a way out, it's not a commitment. So, does everyone have a piece of paper?
No.
Basically, you don't have to have a piece of paper, but it might help you to clarify. Because I'm about to ask you to write down the answer, or bring to mind the answer to this. And part of the reason I want you to write it down is because I want you to really clarify for yourself what it is and what you may choose to start putting your focus in tonight, and starting to look at to see if there are areas where you may think there's a way out. So she writes it pretty specifically in terms of her expression of commitment. And she states her commitment very clearly. So if you were to finish this sentence, I am 100% committed to everyone have something? Yes.
You have more than one commitment.
You can have more than one commitment. I would just focus on one right now. Just for tonight.
But no, more of a general question. Let's go for more than anything.
Oh yeah, I have lots of different commitments in my life. Where did I just see it? I just had it here. So this is her commitment, and if you ever hear her speak, she starts every workshop by saying this. She has she has taken 100% responsibility for the transformation of the abundance consciousness of planet Earth.
Wow.
And I can guarantee you, in everything she does, everything she says, every person she encounters, that is her commitment. I've met her many times now, and there is absolutely no room for doubt in her mind. So here's the next thing I want you to write out very quickly. What are the ways in which you might fail? What are the ways in which you might fail?
I think the answer is no way.
You're a very good student.
Yes. There aren't any, because you're 100%.
Exactly.
How many people found some ways in which they might fail, though?
I just been listening to
Never
you.
got that far.
Or try instead of do.
But isn't that a good thing to kind of be aware of? And
Yeah. Well, that's
especially if there are things you've done.
and ultimately that's the point. If you find things that look like they might be places where there's room for failure within the commitment, you have to deal with them. And you deal with them consciously. You deal with them by saying, this has absolutely no power. And then applying the spiritual truth on the other side of that, recognizing what does have power. So this is part of the spiritual practice. You know, tonight I really had an intention of like, let's get to the nitty-gritty, right? Of really starting to say, this is how you can engage in a spiritual practice related to this specific idea and specific issue. I think far too many of us, nobody in this room certainly, but far too many of us in society don't really hold to their commitment to spiritual practice to the degree that they could be. And you don't have to become a minister to live in spiritual practice 100% of the time. You don't have to become a practitioner. What you have to do is you have to make the commitment in your own heart. Is there any room for doubt within that level of commitment?
No.
Thank you. Yes?
Could one of your goals be a commitment too? Because it's like an ongoing thing.
Well, yeah, I mean, you can be committed to a goal, but she talks sort of, I mean, yes, yeah.
Well, it depends on how you define it.
It depends on how you define it, yeah.
I think a goal is a plan, and a plan can change, and a plan needs to change as the outcomes change.
Right. You know what I would actually thank you. You've just clarified it for me, and I'm going to liken it to something that we do in mental muscle. What I'm kind of getting at a little bit right now is maybe looking at a global intention.
Yeah.
My global intention is to eliminate the concept that there is a gap between the human and the divine. That's my global intention. And I think, now I know that in everything that I do, every action I take in my life is related to that global intention. Yes?
You're sort of talking about a mission statement or a vocation.
Yeah.
Right.
It's like a mission statement or a
Like you're
vocation.
making a difference
Yeah.
in the world.
You know what I just realized? The reason why marriages don't work is because people give themselves the possibility of divorce.
Yes.
So they're telling themselves, if this
Isn't
fails, we can always get a divorce.
Yeah.
If
That's-
you're married with the intention, like you say, of being married forever, even there's people that say you can be married forever, like in lives after this life, you can still be married to that person. Then marriage will fail because you're 100% committed.
Yeah.
Can I share a story? A really quick
Yeah,
one?
please.
I have a cousin who's a little bit older, and she married this man who, when he was in a good mood, he was tons of fun, and when he was in a bad mood, he affected everybody around him. So we were out getting a Christmas tree one Christmas, and I said to her, "Okay, so why are you staying with him?" No, really. I mean, and everybody in the family had asked the same question, and we could never figure it out. I mean, we just couldn't figure it out. And she was quiet for a moment, and then she said, "I made a commitment, and I will make this work." And they have an absolutely fabulous relationship now. But she would just walk when he went crazy. It didn't affect her. She'd just walk away. But it affected everybody else. I mean, we wanted to divorce him. Get out of our family, for God's sakes. But she, you know what? She handled it absolutely. She said, and she was 100%. I made this commitment.
Yeah.
And actually, when they come up with no fault divorce,
Yeah.
statistically, they went up. The
Yes.
divorces went up.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, if they're, well, you know, it's so funny, this is all on the heels of this ruling that's supposed to come down from the Supreme Court in the United States tomorrow.
Yes.
Because that's really been on my mind.
What
And-
is the ruling?
They're ruling on the legality of same-sex marriage in the U.S.
Okay. Well, they're so
The-
slow
the-
in the States.
I know.
Yeah.
In Washington or
The U.S. It's at the Supreme Court now, so they're looking at it federally for the entire United States.
Oh, good.
But I think the ruling, I think the ruling that's gonna come down tomorrow, as I'm hearing, rumors, is not going to be.
How ludicrous.
No.
Anyway,
Doesn't matter.
the reason that I think about it is because one of the big arguments on the one side of the equation is that
Takes away from the family.
it takes away from the families, but it's not even that. It's that it dilutes
The commitment.
the commitment of straight couples.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. I know it's like here we all go. That's ridiculous.
Why isn't it treated like a limited partnership in a business though?
Exactly.
An actual marriage should be treated the same
I
in the same
agree.
contractual way.
I agree, but if marriage is so important, why don't they outlaw divorce? Why doesn't that side work to outlaw divorce?
Yeah.
You know, so anyway, it's just been on my mind. So it's funny that you bring that up because now it's like, oh. But what is your commitment? And what is your commitment to a marriage? Because when you take those vows, and you know, I take what I do. I'm like, since I married you.
What is your commitment?
I mean, I didn't marry you, but I performed your ceremony. Just to be clear.
You marry me.
Aaron was there.
Okay, good.
But when you take those vows, that's a serious commitment.
Yeah.
And I do not take it lightly, the role that I have in bringing people together in that commitment. It's really important, you know, to do not go into marriage lightly. Do not go into marriage lightly. I think
Very true.
far too many people do because they feel like they have the out.
There's an out.
So, if you look at your commitment, if you look at this one thing that you have a 100% commitment to in your life, and I am likening it to a global intention, a vocation, a mission statement. For me, I have a 100% commitment to what? How did I put it? My global intention. My global intention is to eliminate the perceived gap between the human and the divine.
Why?
No, there's a bit of a gap there.
Isn't that funny though?
Yeah.
Most people would go human and divine. I'm like, the human and the divine. There is no gap. That's everything I do is based on that. So take a look at what your commitment is. Let me ask you to consider this now. Is it based in a place that is coming from a point of view of being in service?
Yes. Sorry.
To yourself? Now, does it have to be to humanity? It depends on the commitment you've chosen in this instance. Or is it about, possibly, and I know it won't be anybody in this room or anybody online. Do we have anybody online?
We do.
Oh,
We do.
just-
Helen and Lena.
Yeah, you please participate if you would like to ask questions. Just I do want to acknowledge that you are there. Is it from a place truly to be of service, or is it possibly coming from a place of ego, where it supports your human ego, like you want your name up in lights, you want to be famous. I think far too many actors want to be famous, they don't want to be actors. Or is it about working at something to create a source of income? Because I think a lot of people do that as well. There's only one source of money. God. Yes.
When you first started that sentence, you said, is your commitment coming from being in a place of service to yourself, and then you carried on clarifying something, and I just wondered if that was something you were communicating, or whether it was half-finished, whatever.
It may be half finished in the sense that I don't know what everybody's written.
Right, but
So-
did you mean to say to yourself?
Yes, I did.
Okay, So can you explain that a little bit, just to make sure that I understand?
Yes,
Which I'm happy to hear and note.
yeah, I think that probably what's going on in my mind, I'm glad you're asking me to clarify, because sometimes I have to be given that impetus. I think what happens sometimes is we maybe choosing to commit to something out of a sense of what actually is ultimately based in ego, that is purely the act of giving without receiving, which actually then is akin to breaking the flow.
Okay, so when you say is your commitment coming from being in a place of service to yourself, what you're talking about, that you are part of the loop and you will receive.
Right.
So you are, thank you, that to me, I said it and I thought, okay, let's just clarify that and I'm glad that you are. It sort of went in actually under the cover of something, so I'm glad. So he's spoken that just specifically for me, because now the thing is actually, even with the example you give, in closing this gap, I mean, you have to close that gap within you and get that presence.
Yeah.
But apart from that, you've actually also clarified something that I feel is really important to me, is that for me, noting that I look after myself physically, mentally, emotionally, etc. And what you're also emphasizing is that you be part of the flow that receives.
Yes.
Which is, I'll let that settle into my mind and heart and psyche and things.
Great. Yeah, and it's also akin to what I talk about all the time. The oxygen mask on the airplane.
Right. Help yourself first.
You have to take care of yourself first, or you do not have capacity to help anybody else. So if your commitment excludes yourself, you got to take a look at that. Yeah.
I'm just wondering then, in which category would one desire being committed to having a relationship? Is that considered to be answering one's ego needs, or to have a
the desire to be in a relationship?
Yeah.
Well, let's face it, I desire to be in a relationship. And does that serve my ego need, my human ego? Sure. Does it serve my divine ego? I think so. And when I talk about divine ego, I'm talking about the entertaining God only. There is God within the relationship. There is divine energy within the relationship. I am ready to have that experience in my life with somebody special. And I have not had that for a very long time. Now, I have experienced it in relationships that have ended, but I'm ready for it. So you know what? Here we go. Just like the Twin Games. God, I am ready for it. Bring it on. And so it is. But it can be, the thing is to be very clear. Is this serving, that's the question to ask, is this relationship serving only my human ego, my human needs, or does it serve me in a greater sense? Am I actually engaged in a loving, committed relationship with somebody that I recognize as being divine and unified in that way with that person? For me, that's what works for me. But be clear what works for you. Does that make sense?
It does.
Great.
Well, there are many types of relationships,
Yeah, because for a minute there, I was thinking, oh, maybe I'm being selfish and being desirous of having a relationship. But I'm glad to hear your explanation.
Yeah, no, it's not, here, and let's also be clear. Relationships when we talk about the 4 legs of the table, relationships is one of the 4 legs of the table. Now we're talking about relationships in general. Right now, we are in relationships. So this is a relationship that I have to the community and that you have to me. But there are also romantic relationships. So if you're looking and and desiring. It is okay to have the desire to have a beautiful, harmonious, wonderful, romantic relationship. Because you know what? I'm gonna say it, sex is God.
That's right. That's right.
It's all God. There is nothing that is not God. And that freaks some people out. In fact, so we got a box of condoms that we're gonna be handing condoms out at Pride.
What does it have on?
What does it say?
And I told Deja, make stickers that say sex is God too.
Oh, perfect.
wow.
That
Oh
is
my God,
Have fun. But be safe.
Yeah.
Sex is good.
Sex is God too. And I think far too many of us are too freaking afraid to talk about sex because it is a very taboo subject. The only subject that is more taboo than sex is money.
That's true.
Right?
I would add sex is good too.
Yeah? Well, you hope so. Yeah.
Well, from what I've read everywhere, it's like there's two subjects that you don't talk to with your parents, and that's sex and money. And that
Religion.
just
I would say there are probably 4.
Yeah.
Sex, money, religion, and politics.
Yes.
But for a lot of people, then they would have nothing to talk about. But yeah, it's very common. We as a society have made a decision that these are taboo subjects to talk about. Why? What are we afraid of? That's the question asked. What are you afraid of in squelching that conversation? Judgments, competition, whatever it is. Whatever it is, it's something that we have to look at within the self, because it has absolutely nothing to do with the people out there. So, are you ready to do what you say you want to do?
Yes.
Are you ready to make whatever it is written a 100% commitment without fail in your life?
Yes.
All right. That is living in integrity. Living in integrity, my favorite definition of integrity is doing what you say you are going to do.
Right.
That's integrity. So if you are ready to live your life in integrity, now you've made a claim, you must do it. No holds barred, no fear. Now, can you make a new decision down the road if you decide that this is no longer working for you? Absolutely. But this is something that resonates with you right here and right now. So why not make a 100% commitment to take a step in that direction? And that, to me, I believe, is actually a tremendous, this is so funny because now the way that I'm going to phrase this is based on the conversation we've just had, may come off as a little funny, but that is ultimate self-love. Living in integrity is loving yourself. So, you got the, if you read the book, you saw that there was a 14-day plan for self-care, an exercise of self-care and integrity. How many of you would like to do that?
Yep.
Yes.
How many of you are committed to doing that?
I do it all.
How many of you would like a helping hand at
Yes.
doing that?
Yes.
Me too.
All right, here's what I'm going to do. We're going to start on Monday, the 1st of July.
Wow.
Yeah.
Just because it's nice that Monday is the 1st and it'll go through to Sunday, the 14th of July.
Canada Day too.
It is Canada Day as well, yes.
We need to order.
I'm going to make a special email list. If you're already on the, I was going to say the NoHo list. If you're already on the CSL Toronto email list, this will be separate from that.
So you need
So
it again.
please put your name down here if you'd like to be included in this. What I will do is for each of those days, every morning, I will send you an email every day for 14 days
Okay.
that has day 1, this is what it is, and I might throw my own little bit of inspiration as well. Oh,
Okay,
My question is,
I meant that to go with it.
if your place, my question is, even though it's one day, you start that day, but maybe you might not finish the order part of it.
Oh, Christina.
No,
Here's my question, are you looking for a way out?
no,
I don't want
I just need a bit more time than a day to put my place in order.
You can work it on the time frame.
Here's the thing, you're gonna keep getting the reminders,
Exactly.
so,
Sounds good.
yes.
growing up, I had an auntie that every Monday started on a diet. They kind of broke it, and by Friday it was broken. And every Monday again, she would start a diet, and she always lived with this weight problem her whole life, because she gave herself a way out.
Yeah.
You know, I find that if you make this commitment, whatever each person chose today, it has to come from a place of love, self-love, like you just said as well. If it comes from a place of love, doesn't matter what it is or how crazy it sounds, you'll be able to do it.
Absolutely, absolutely. I see you typing it, just made me think, if you're online and you want to, that's why I've actually put my email address, I've put a link to my email. Just send me an email that has it'll have your email if you're sending me an email. But just put in the subject line or something, 14-day commitment.
I just said, please send your email address in.
Yeah, just send me an email, click on the link there, you don't have to do it in the chat.
Yeah, no, it's good.
Perfect, so let's see. Divine purpose, global intention. So, you know who has a great divine purpose?
I do.
Yes, you do.
For you. It's cool.
Just another example. My friend Reverend Jamie Klein. And none of you will probably know who he is. If you've watched NoHo services, you will have seen him.
Soup Kitchen.
Yeah, he's Soup Kitchen. You know what his global intention is? Guess what his global intention is?
Feed the world.
Eliminating world hunger.
There you are.
That's his entire ministry.
Wow.
Eliminate world hunger.
Wow.
And he does it. I mean, he is actively participating in it. And for me, he is a true inspiration of somebody who has taken a 100% commitment to his ministry in a specific way, and everything he does is in accordance with that commitment. Now, here's the other thing about your divine purpose and your commitment to your divine purpose. And I love that she says this. It must be fun. It must be fun. This is not a place to decide to be a martyr. This is not a place for personal sacrifice. If you have to sacrifice anything to live your divine purpose, with all due respect, you're probably not doing it right.
So if you ask yourself, are we having fun yet? And the answer is no, do you drop your commitment?
Well,
Reframe it.
reframe it. Find the way that it is fun.
Okay.
You know what? I've actually had a thought recently. I'm about to say this out loud. I haven't said it out loud to anybody yet.
Okay, outside voice time.
But one of the, so I've had this a little bit of a struggle recently because in my ministry, one of the things that I miss is my life as a performer. Right? And I think everybody in this community probably saw that was going to happen eventually. So here I am, a year and a half into my ministry here in Toronto, and all of a sudden I'm going, wow, I really miss my life as a performer. And I love my ministry, and I have fun in my ministry. I love what I do. And I want to do something more. And I thought, well, performing is fun. And ministry is fun. How can I do these things together? And started thinking in a way that is in service to the community. And so here we go. Ready, Carmen? Here I am walking down the street.
American sign for walking.
And I'm passing by, there's a nursing, there are a lot of community homes and nursing homes right along this row here, and I started thinking, why don't I get a group together that can start putting together little performance pieces, and we can take them to these places and,
Sounds really
Be a
nice.
performing minister.
Yeah, well, I am.
Performing ministry.
But yeah, that to me is melding the ministry with something I love to do, that is fun, that is in service to the community. What better way to live life?
Yay.
So I've said it out loud. I've stated it out loud.
Yeah.
All right, God, make it happen.
Like we knew this already.
Yes, of course.
We've just been waiting. When the list is, we'll get the list back. Can I have some?
your
Okay, the list is coming.
I've got an idea.
She's got an idea.
All right.
Afterwards.
All right.
Afterwards. This is just clicking.
And there it begins,
Yes.
right? you ask for it, it shows up.
Say it out loud.
You ask for it, it shows up. And you know what? There is something very important too about saying it out loud. That's why when I start
Right.
teaching prayer, I teach people to pray out loud.
Yes.
Too many people.
They fall asleep.
Oh, I'm sorry, what? Pray out loud and have energy and conviction behind it, because you are not praying to God, you're praying as God. God has infinite energy. And God always provides.
That's where I was a member of a church for many, many years that believes in tithes.
Mm-hmm.
But the Bible does tell you that if you tithe with a joyful heart, then blessings will pour.
Mm-hmm.
And I tithed for many years, and the blessings never poured, because I don't think I had a joyful heart about it.
All right,
I
good to know.
was not very happy about having to give a famous 10%.
Ah,
That's what.
aha.
I wasn't having fun.
And there you go. That's the difference.
What'd she say?
She was not having fun tithing. She was not doing it with a joyful heart. She was not. And that's the thing. If you feel resentment about tithing,
Yeah.
check in with that.
Yeah.
I mean, I am a tither. We do not require tithing within this center, but I encourage it because it has brought blessings into my life. The other thing about tithing, because tithing was week 1.
Oh, sorry, I missed all of it.
No, it's totally fine. The other thing about tithing is that tithing. What was I just going to say? Oh, thank you.
Joyful heart.
Yes, tithing from a joyful heart. Oh, also, check in with yourself. If you are tithing to get something back, if that's the purpose of the tithe, is to get something back, you got to check in with that too. Tithing needs to be free of any sense of return, except a trust and faith that you do get a return. But if you're tithing to get, it's like, oh, if I give 10% here, I'm going to get this.
That's Vegas
Because God
style.
tells you you can do better
Vegas
with the
style, I
90%
like that.
that you have left over than with the 100% that you're hanging on to.
Yeah?
But like I said, I never did it with a joyful heart, so the blessings never poured. Now I'm not a member of the church anymore, and I do give freely, like I give to Save the Children and to the Red Cross and here and there. And now I'm broke and I still give, and I keep finding $20 bills in my purses all the time.
Of course. The other thing about tithing that she is very specific about is tithe to where you're spiritually nourished. It's great to give to charities and support charities, but give first. The 10% first goes to where you are spiritually nourished. And she has a great story in the book about tithing to a waitress, because in that moment she was inspired spiritually by that waitress. Does not have to go to your church.
No.
I just
Yeah.
discovered something this week. It's a group that I go to where I am spiritually nourished,
Mhm.
and it just never sort of hit me. Here's another place I can tithe to.
Yeah.
So I sent it off to the Ontario arm of it and blessed it.
Great. Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. So how are you all feeling?
Good.
Great.
Good. You've got, yes.
Hungry.
Just one thing.
You're almost hungry too.
Giving with an open hand,
We're gonna have
and when you're trying to hold on to it, you're holding with a closed fist.
Yeah.
How do you give with a closed fist?
You can.
Exactly.
You can.
You have to be open-handed
Mhm.
to give it.
Yes. You do have to be open-handed to give it. I don't know why. This is yours tonight. Oh, sorry. It's money falling to you.
My dream.
Yeah. That's it. I didn't even think of that.
I got money. Very good.
Just- Yeah. All right, so now we're going to do a little bit of a meditation relaxation moment. I want you to bring to mind whatever you think your divine purpose is. Just bring that to mind. Allow that to just sit with you for a moment. Breathe, relax. I'm going to ask the questions that she actually asks in the book. Some of the questions that she's asking is actually part of what we ask when we're doing visioning work. So if you simply relax right into the moment, right into the space where you are, wherever that space is, recognizing that that space is purely in the here and now. Letting go of anything that you may be expecting, releasing anything that you're holding on to from the past, just simply let it all melt away. And allow all of your senses to simply be fully engaged and present right here and right now. What do you taste right now? What do you feel right now? Can you feel the air against your skin? What do you hear in this moment? What do you smell? What do you see? Whether your eyes are open or closed, what do you see? Allow yourself to be perfectly present. And allow this concept of your divine purpose to come to mind. Simply allow yourself to hear this question and be open to the answer. What one issue seems important to me? What one issue seems important to me? Hearing it in your own voice, asking the question of yourself. What one issue seems most important to me? Allow yourself to check in with your breath. Recognize the easy in and out of air, breathing in and breathing out. And simply being open to the answer to this question. What would be the perfect expression of my divine purpose? What would be the perfect expression of my divine purpose? What would be the perfect expression of my divine purpose? Allowing yourself to sink even deeper into this place, this perfect expression of the here and now, with divine purpose in mind, and an allowing of this perfect answer to this question. Can I visualize it and see it clearly in my mind's eye? Can I visualize it and see it clearly in my mind's eye? Can I visualize it and see it clearly in my mind's eye? Let go of any tension. Breathe. Feel yourself supported, fully supported, right here and right now. Recognizing you're supported by more than just the chair, you are supported by a divine energy. And this divine energy is flowing through you, active as you. Breathe. Allowing yourself to be open to the answer to this question. What do I need to know, to have, or to be in order to begin? What do I need to know, to have, or to be in order to begin? Allowing yourself to sink a little bit deeper. Allowing yourself that place of pure, energetic focus. And hearing the answer to this question. Am I willing to do what it takes? Am I willing to do what it takes? From this perfect place, you hear the perfect answer. You hear the answer that is based in truth. Allow that answer to be free of judgment. Allow that answer to simply be an answer. And finally, hearing the answer to this. Will I commit to staying the course, working on integrity, and standing alone in my mission if necessary? Will I commit to staying the course, working on integrity, and standing alone in my mission if necessary? And very easily and gently allow yourself to start to come back to this room. You can rub your thumbs across your fingers. When it's comfortable to open your eyes, if you've had them closed, you can open your eyes. So, breathe. That's akin to visioning. We've done some visioning, and that was super fast.
That was, yeah.
I've done visioning sessions where you sit and, I mean, it's an hour-long session. So literally, I mean, I was just zipping through that. But you can engage in that kind of practice and come to very clear answers. The thing about visioning, and it's different from visualization. I'll explain the difference shortly. The thing about visioning is it can allow clarity to come through so quickly and in such a focused manner that you know exactly how to proceed. I think far too many of us try and force the answers of how to proceed in the things we want to do. And it's good to stop, take stock, get quiet, and really open yourself up to intuiting the answers. And these are just some questions that you can use. I've just got a bunch of questions in there. But I love these particular questions because they are questions that are open. And they lead you to answers. Am I willing to do what it takes? And my guess is, nobody has to, give themselves up in this moment, but my guess is, after we went through that whole process, there may have been one or two people in here that even in their divine purpose, what they've stated is their divine purpose, when I got to that question, am I willing to do what it takes, there might have been a no. And that's okay. Because then it goes to the work of forgiveness. Let yourself off the hook. Let yourself off the hook. Because then the next question that you can ask is, what am I willing to do? What am I willing to do? I love visioning. Really love visioning. And for somebody who has a lot of enthusiasm and bounces off the walls, look at how my entire demeanor, and it shifts me. Gets me a lot more grounded and focused. Not that I'm not grounded and focused even when I'm bouncing off the walls. But I offer that to you as a spiritual practice.
What is the difference between visualization?
Visioning and visualization. Here's how I make the difference. Here's how I understand the difference. Visioning is opening yourself up to divine intuition. Visualization is using your imagination to create a picture in your mind's eye of what something should look like. Visualization has benefit. To be able to be in that place of pure imagination and really be able to see, I can see myself engaged in, I love the beach. I can see myself at the beach enjoying, enjoying a cocktail, whatever it is. I'm going to be in California in a few weeks, so I can see myself at the beach enjoying a cocktail. Probably not the beach in Southern California, though. Those are pretty gross. So there's great benefit to that. The thing that I would encourage you all to do, if you engage in visualization where you're using your imagination, the thing to check in with is not just what is the vision, what is the thing that I see in my mind's eye, how does it make me feel? Because that ultimately is what you want to get at, especially if you're going into prayer work. Prayer work is about, ultimately, it's more than just the thing, what it looks like. It goes to the place of what does it feel like. So just check in with yourself, and then from that place of feeling, you can go into, you can start with visualization, and then allow yourself to go deeper into visioning, and see what shows up. Yeah?
May I dare tell you something? I'm just thinking.
Yeah.
Visualization is more self-led. Visioning is God-led.
I agree with that, yes. Yeah, because imagination is a conscious use of mind. Right? When we imagine things, we're actually actively engaged using our conscious mind on the individualized level as the self. When we step back into visioning, we're allowing intuition from a higher source. And I use air quotes when I say higher source. From a higher, but something that seemingly is outside of ourselves, but we're just tapped into it because we have full capacity to access the infinity of the divine at all times, because it's who and what we are. And I love both visioning and visualization, but I tend to rely on visioning for the work. I loved this. So she brings up this quote from Jonathan Livingston Seagull. It's good to be a seeker, and I love that she writes, but sooner or later you have to be a finder. The only reason that I always, whenever a reference is made to Jonathan Livingston Seagull, it touches me because what you may or may not know, some of you, is I was named after Jonathan Livingston Seagull.
You grew up in that generation of that book too.
I did. In fact, I'm grateful that that book was published when it was published and it was discovered by my parents when it was discovered, because had it not been for that, I would be named Woody. After Woody Guthrie.
It was a lovely soul as well.
Absolutely. But
Jonathan.
here's my consideration.
You would have grown up.
Woody Sense.
First of all, Reverend Woody.
We're not gonna call you that.
Reverend Woody at Gay Pride.
Yeah, that could have been a whole different time.
Maybe your alter ego.
Wow. Wow.
You're gonna be so told this.
No, you're not.
Whew, I'm at a loss for words now.
That's unusual, Jonathan.
Wow. And it does take quite a bit for me to be at a loss for words.
That's what you get for sharing.
Yeah, well, that is what I get for sharing.
WZ.
WZ.
Yeah, it would have been Woody. Well, I don't know what my middle name would have been. Woody. Hey, Pop, if you're online, what would my middle name have been if I had actually been named Woody?
Or
What is your
Richard.
middle name?
My middle name is David. Jonathan David Zenz. Yeah. So,
What I loved about Jonathan Livingston Seagull was the music by Neil Diamond.
Mhm.
I'm a Dylan Diamond kind of girl.
yeah.
The music was amazing.
Yeah, I love that book. It's well, you know,
It's about freedom.
It is. It's about freedom, and it's really like if you really want actually
And in love.
and love, and it is very much in line with what we teach.
Yeah.
It is very much in line with what we teach. You know, first of all, the concept of being the seeker, of always recognizing that there is something more to know, and that Ernest Holmes stood for that in his teaching by recognizing that the minute we stop the flow of deeper understanding of our experience as God, then we've stopped evolving.
We stagnate.
We become stagnant, exactly. And not to cast aspersions, but I feel like I see that happening in a lot of religious institutions and political institutions and, you know, you name it. You see stagnation happening because people stop the flow. They think this is all there is to be known. That's it. And anything that challenges that then becomes the enemy. The other. Yeah. And I like the concept that, as Ernest Holmes wrote, we are open at the top. I've never really talked about that phrase, being open at the top. That we're always open at the top to know something more. That there is always more to know. He was very clear, Ernest Holmes was, by saying, and it's so funny, because I've mentioned this too, he said, if you're still studying this book in 60 years, you got it wrong.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Actually, 53 years since he passed. But this book was written in, I mean, it was, this edition was 1938. So, well beyond 60 years in that. Now, given that concept, then why should we read any books ever? Because the minute they're published, they're out of date. After you've read them, what more is there to know? I still find great wisdom in this, and the spark that has for me to think in forward-moving ways, to think about, oh, I recognize this as being an open at the top concept now, so it inspires me still.
Absolutely.
So hold on to the things that inspire you and hold on to the stories that work for you. Yeah.
Yes, but you also have expressed that you're not bound by it, you're not limited by it.
No, it has great wisdom in it. Quite frankly, just like the Bible has great wisdom in it.
It's very similar to the Buddhist teaching of love and check your sources.
Yeah, absolutely. Check your sources, especially with Buddhism, because far too many quotes are out there that are attributed to Buddha, and they're not actually. Definitely check your sources. So I wanted to go over for the last portion of tonight, and this then becomes the last portion of this 4-week class, are these affirmations for integrity that she has. And the first one that she wrote down is, I always pay attention. I always pay attention. Now, as you engage, so we started this class with affirmations, which a lot of you got on the card that Carrie had
Yep.
very lovingly provided. So these are some that you may want to consider adding to your list of affirmations that you use.
What page is it on?
What page is this on?
201.
201?
Thank you.
Yes, affirmations for integrity, starting on page 201. I always pay attention. And this is, we actually just engaged in this a little bit, being present. And you hear me talk about it all the time. Let go of past considerations, let go of anything you're expecting for the future, and simply be present. You can only truly pay attention in the present moment. And then the question is, what are you paying attention to? What are you putting your attention on? Because whatever you're putting your attention on is what is going to grow in your experience. So, if in this moment you put your attention on lack, you will experience more lack. What are you putting your attention on? Always pay attention. Also, this struck for me the concept that I use in Mental Muscle as well, which we have borrowed from, I want to say it's Joan Borisenko, but I don't think it is. It's from the book In Praise of Slowness. Multitasking is the enemy of efficiency. Multitasking is the enemy of efficiency. We have, again, been socialized to think that multitasking is a really great thing, to be able to handle all of this stuff all at one time. The truth is you can't, because you can only truly put your focus on one thing at a time. And if you're trying to multitask, everything, I don't want to say everything fails, but everything suffers from an efficiency standpoint. It's why I'm very much a do one thing at a time person. But I had to learn how to do that too. I was, please, when you work for James Mellon for 6 years, as much as he says multitasking is the enemy of efficiency,
I'm sure he's a huge multitasker.
he is a big multitasker. He's gotten a lot better about it, but also his expectation that his administrator is going to multitask was very high, because when he stopped multitasking,
Somebody else
those
has
tasks
to.
didn't go anyplace except to me. But no, I'm very committed now to one thing at a time.
So you're not watching TV and tweeting and checking Google and talking on the phone. I'm just asking.
Well, it's funny that you bring that up, because I actually had been doing that for a very long time, and I've admitted that, right? I've actually stopped that.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
That's hard to
Because
do.
you know,
It's hard to do.
it is. Well, it can be. Here's what I will do though. So if something, because usually what happens is if I open my computer while I've got a TV program going, it's because something in the TV program has sparked my interest in something that I want to go find out about. Because I'm also always watching, like shows on the Discovery Channel about the nature of the universe and things like that. But even like when I watch The Newsroom on HBO, I'm so excited about it, coming back in a few weeks. Something will spark me, and I'll go, oh, I want to go look that up. But now, instead of allowing the television program to continue and stopping my focus on there and going and looking online and then saying, oh, look, I've got some email. No, I actually pause the program now. I do what I want to do. When I'm done with that, then I will go back to it. But that's paying attention.
Yes.
That is saying, I want to be committed to everything that I do and be purposeful in my commitment to it. And that's really, I think, what it boils down to. Be purposeful in what you're doing.
But you also have to make sure, like the other people expect people to, I find people expect you to multitask too these days.
People do expect you to multitask,
And
yes.
and the job I'm doing now, or I've been doing for a while, I had to actually tell people, one problem at a time. I'll be, like, I work on machinery, on machines, and they'll tell me about the other machine, says, time out, let me fix this problem, and then I'll go look at that one.
Mhm.
Because they wanna tell the story and everything else, you almost have to tell people, one thing at a time.
Yeah. Yeah. You have to. And it is. There is an expectation. It's an expectation in our society that multitasking is just what everybody engages in now. Here's another great thing about
Well, you're admired for that.
Oh yeah. Oh, huge praise.
Yeah, well, who's the woman who just wrote the book, Lean In? Never mind.
I was going to say something else. I don't remember what it is now. That's okay. The next affirmation for integrity. I always tell the truth and tell it quickly. This is one that can really, really push people's buttons. I have a process, personally, for how I engage in this activity. And this is what I have to remind myself, because some of you have witnessed now, here I am making another admission, but some of you have witnessed this, where I will have an emotional reaction to something. Because you know what? I'm still a human being. As much as I've worked on myself to be the person that you see in front of you, now I still have emotional reactions to things, but now I really do make a commitment to myself, and this is the commitment. Pray, then say whatever needs to be said.
That's good.
But telling the truth, yes.
Say pray and then say whatever needs to be said.
Mhm.
Now, each time, do you find your prayer gets to be a different sort of, that's a treatment, or is it a similar?
No, it's specific to the situation. Yeah. So I'll tell you, I've actually had an I had an experience recently where I had a little moment of tension with someone, and in the moment, in the expression of it, in the experience of it, I was finding myself challenged in that moment. There were extenuating circumstances also that like compressed the time frame of what was happening. So I was having the experience of it and kept going to this place of you need to step back and you need to relax and you need to pray in this moment and recognize what's going on. And then I had to, so what happened for me in that moment of just making the intention of like, you need to step back. And this is the question then to ask. What wants to happen here? What wants to happen here? It's a great question. What wants to happen here? Because what that does for me is it grounds me in that moment. This is a quick prayer for me. It grounds me in that moment of saying, I know who I am, and I know who I'm talking to. And if anybody watched James Mellon's talk this week, he talks, no. Oh, it wasn't, I don't think he talked about it. I'm getting all my things mixed up. Doug LeBeau talked about it on Mental Muscle. One of the greatest gifts that James Mellon gave me is God is speaking no matter who's talking.
I've written it down, isn't it fabulous?
Yeah, God is speaking no matter who is talking. So when you have moments where you may be starting to feel a little aggravated by a conversation that's happening, remember that it's God that's speaking. Because we tend to forget that. Were you going to say something?
Yeah, I just wrote this note here where you say pray and say what needs to be said.
Mm-hmm.
I find sometimes it's really powerful to say nothing.
And that prayer may be what leads you to say nothing. You may recognize in that moment, nothing needs to be said. But be very clear that that's the divine guidance that's coming through you. So I take the time that I need, but handle things in the moment when they need to be handled. That's the other thing. When you do it from a truthful point of view. We're talking about a point of view. And this point of view must honor the spiritual being with whom you're having this experience with. And I love that she talks about truth with a lowercase t. She's talking about really facts of the situation. And if you can impersonalize the facts of the situation, you can always speak from a place of divine truth. And you should have no fear around that. Just because we have 10 minutes left, I'm going to continue on through these. Another affirmation for integrity. I always ask for what I want when I want it. This goes in line with one of my mantras. You can't get the yes unless you ask. You can't get the yes unless you ask. But you must not be dissuaded or afraid of a no. If you don't ask, here's the thing. If you don't ask, you are guaranteed a no.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's my mantra.
The next one, I always take total responsibility for my experience. Now this is really akin to last week's class, so I'm not going to go into it too much. Responsibility, right? What do I always say? It's the ability to respond in this moment to change this moment moving forward. And it is not about blame, just to be abundantly clear. Responsibility, when I talk about personal responsibility, I'm not talking about blame. I'm talking about what can I do? What can I do? Not what did I do wrong? What can I do now? And this last one, this last affirmation, I always keep my agreements. I always keep my agreements. Here's an example of how I choose to keep my agreements, which if you've ever been in class with me, I start precisely at 7 o'clock, and to the best of my ability, I always end at 9 o'clock. But if we're going to go past 9 o'clock, I always ask permission. I always get a consensus. But I would never just sit here and like watch the clock go past and keep you engaged. I would always say, it's now that time. Would you like to continue or not? And now we'll probably end up, we'll probably end before 9 o'clock tonight. I make no guarantees. So, affirmations to consider, affirmations that you can use in your everyday life, and the final affirmation, which I love. Large, rich, opulent, lavish financial surprises now come to me, and I am grateful.
Yes, that's my favorite.
Isn't that a great one? Large, rich, opulent, lavish financial surprises now come to me, and I am grateful. So does anybody have any questions? Or thoughts? Or short stories?
Well, Amanda says, I like that too.
Yeah, yeah.
That's in the financial affirmations?
It's the very last.
It's the very last thing she...
No, in that list that
It's
Karen
on,
has.
it's on the card.
Oh, is it?
I turned mine into a magnet.
Did you?
Well, it's a money magnet, right? So I turned it into a magnet, put it on my fridge.
That's cute.
Large, rich, opulent, lavish financial surprises come to me now, and I gratefully.
Yes, there it is. Tis there.
Tis.
Large, rich, opulent, lavish financial surprises now come to me, and I am grateful. So I want to thank you all for these 4 weeks.
Thank you.
I will take that list. I will get everybody's emails put right into, well, part of the reason that I'm not starting it until Monday also is because I am going to New York and leaving at 4 o'clock in the morning.
That's perfect. Monday works.
And I think Monday is a good day to start. So we will do that. I'm sorry?
We mentioned accreditation in case anybody wants to.
This is not an accredited class.
That's what I was told.
No.
This is not an accredited class. This is a 4-week workshop.
What is it? Deja?
Deja's
No.
told me
She's incorrect.
Oh.
This is not one of the,
it's one of the
this is not part of the
Olympics.
curriculum.
This was a,
Isn't
No.
an open
This was just a fun.
Just an open,
generosity.
fun class that we were all
Because
doing.
Edwin
But you're
canceled,
taking
right?
me now, Mark?
Yeah,
Because she
it was a.
I paid for it.
accident. You paid for it.
Is that what
There was
that
no
check was
fee.
for?
There was no.
That you just.
Part of it, yes.
Oh, no, I'll give that check back to you. This was a free class.
Yeah.
No, I was told, well, that's what she said is if you wanted accreditation for it as part of my.
No, this
credits to
is not an
become a
accredited
minister.
course, so let me give you the check back
Yep.
because that was
Yep.
incorrect information. Yeah.
There's a question.
Yeah.
Would you have a class on finding your divine purpose?
Yes.
Like a full course on finding your divine purpose?
I don't know, Magda's asking.
The answer is, it kind of comes up a lot.
Do some more vision.
It comes up in the power of decision. It comes up in the 7 spiritual laws of success. It comes up in the 4 spiritual laws of prosperity. I could do it. It's just I've never considered it. So
Okay, the question's out.
yeah, the question's out there. You can't get the yes unless you ask. I don't have a yes yet, but I might. Yes.
You've been talking about doing a visioning or something like vision this with P20.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I've already made the commitment to doing more spiritual practice come fall. I'm going to start a Wednesday night service, and at some point we're going to keep expanding. I would love to have things going on here every single evening. You know, like I said, my vision for this center is to be a place where you can come anytime and be spiritually nourished, and we're working in that direction.
Where's that new building?
Yeah, the new building is.
It's there.
There.
We just have to find each other.
Yes, exactly.
You're attracting.
It's taking time, something bigger and better is coming.
So, we have just about enough time to do a prayer, and then we can sign off. So, I'll invite you to close your eyes if that's comfortable and just be perfectly present right where you are. And breathe. Allowing yourself to simply relax right where you are. I recognize in this moment that there is a perfection at play. There is a unified, infinite energy that is coursing through all of creation. I recognize right here and right now that there is a spiritual source of all good. And I recognize it as who I am, and I recognize it as who each and every one of us is. I trust and I know that each of us are perfect. We are each of us opulent, for we are each of us infinite in our expression as the self. And I trust and know that we all tap into the infinite self right here and right now, relaxing in this moment to know something deeper and to allow more of the divine good to come through. For what I know is each of us lives in perfection. Each of us lives as infinite expressions of prosperity. For prosperity is not something that is obtained, but is something that is lived. So I trust and know that each of us are expressing as prosperity right here, right in this moment. I know that large, rich, opulent, lavish financial surprises come to each and every one of us right here and right now, and I am grateful. I stand firm and resolved in this understanding, knowing that this is the only possible outcome. Goodness and light and harmony and prosperity and joy and perfect health, perfect relationships, perfect creative expression. For it is all tied into a deeper divine purpose which each and every one of us are living. And this divine purpose presents itself right here and right now. And each of us takes it and runs with it. And for this I am truly grateful. I'm grateful for Edwene Gaines' words and for her presence in this world to teach these laws. I'm grateful for the opportunity to participate in these laws. And in gratitude, I simply step back and let perfect life unfold releasing this word to a corresponding law of cause and effect. I know it is done right here, right now, and I let it be done. I know it is so. It's together we say, and so it is. Thank you all very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have fun in New York.
I will.